Hey everybody, how we doing? Thought I better give you updates on what's going on. And this week, we're going to answer the question that I get the most from everybody. What do they cost? What do painted desert sheep cost? What's it going to cost me to get some sheep? And I know it varies by location, it varies by time of year, it varies by a lot of things. But I'm going to give you an idea of what I've been seeing here the last few weeks. And maybe that can help a little bit answer that question. Get turned around, everybody's out. I got the girls out in the pasture here. I went ahead and made the change. The guys are out in this pasture. I was able to get all the branches cleaned up. I got that taken care of. I didn't know if I was going to get that done or not, but I had enough energy. I finally got it taken care of. Clean a little stuff up. I got some hay around the corner where I feed the, and let's go over here, I'll show you real quick. It's a problem you're going to have sometimes. And as you can see, oh, there's all kinds of hay. Admittingly, this wasn't the best round bale, kind of stemmy. Tomorrow it's supposed to be nice and warm, and then the next day it's supposed to snow. So I'm going to get the tractor with the bucket on it, and I'm going to get that started tomorrow, and I can back it right in here, scoop everything in, clean that out, and get that done before the snow comes. One more thing before we start on, what do they cost? All the ewes. Unfortunately, the weather's not going to be the greatest because tomorrow, like I said, it's supposed to be in the 60s, it's supposed to be nice. Monday, it is supposed to be in the 30s and maybe snow. But Monday, I have the vets coming. My daughter was able to take some time off late in the afternoon. We're going to bring all the ewes in on Monday, and we're going to draw blood on all 10 of them. And we're going to see if we can find out who's bred, who's not. With luck, I did this on Monday. If we ship it on Tuesday, if I can get it to California before noon on Thursday, I should have the results by Friday. So hopefully we do this weekend. Hopefully by next weekend, I'll have a video ready and we should be able to discuss who's bred, who's not. All right, what are they worth? What's it gonna cost me? And the reason I kind of got into this little, I've seen some results from 2 or 3 sales lately. And then I just happened to have, there was a guy once, he was looking for, say, 70-pound rams or wethers. And I just for the heck of it, I contacted him through Facebook. I mentioned I had a couple rams down here. He wanted to know price, and I told him, and we were discussing. I said, hey, these are breeder ram, possible breeder rams, and they're registered, so they're probably more money than you want to spend, especially if he's just looking to slaughter something. So he said, yeah, that's what he wanted to do, and we've been talking back and forth here through Facebook, I think it was. And anyway, as we were discussing the whole thing and talking about it, he said, well, he had a couple guys contact him, and one guy said he would sell him some for like $2.25 a pound. And I said, if you can buy them for $2.25, I said, I would take advantage of that big time because all the prices I'd been seeing was a lot more than that. Well, a little later on, he private message, he sent me back a sale from the last sale at this auction place. And sure enough, they were some at $2.25. Now, as soon as I saw that, excuse me, sorry about the sun, I then also saw where that sale was. And that sale is, I don't know, it's an hour and a half or so from here. That sale is pretty much known. You got some junk you want to get rid of, that's where you take it. That's where you go. So this is why a lot of times I say it varies. Prices can vary so much. That sale, I saw their deal, about $2.25 was the most they got. And here we're talking, we could be talking 40, 50, 60, 70-pound lambs, something like that. I've seen results from a sale in South Dakota, one in Kansas, one in Oklahoma. I've heard about results from another sale here in Nebraska that's about an hour and a half the other direction from me. And every one of those sales, you're talking $3.50 to $4 for lambs, for hair sheep lambs. And we could be talking, they're going to break them by age, by weight. You could be talking 30, 40 pounders. You could be talking 50, 60. You could be talking 70. And that's going to vary just a little bit then on the price because the heavier might be, and well, it might be a little cheaper, but it depends what do they have on hand that day. But every place, except for that one sale, every place around here has been running say $3.50 to $4 a pound for hair sheep. So what are we talking? Well, let's face it, we're talking if we're weaning, we're going to wean at 12 weeks, and painted deserts aren't quite as big as some other sheep are, but let's say we're talking 40, 50 pound lambs and at weaning time, and that's what I'm selling. I'm going to sell them at 12 weeks. They're going to weigh about 40, 50 pounds. Right now, we're looking at $3.50 to $4 a pound. So if I got a 50 pound sheep at $4 a pound, I'm talking 200 bucks. So we're talking probably anywhere from, excuse me, $175 to $200 for a 40 or 50 pound wean lamb. And I'm just talking just a plain old everyday lamb. I'm not talking about a registered sheep. I'm not talking about breeding stock with great genetics. I'm talking plain old everyday, go to the sale barn, pick up a lamb at 40 or 50 pounds, and it's probably going to run you 175 to 200 bucks. That's at today's prices. You know what? 4 or 5 months from now, it may be totally different. That's why I always get a little hesitant talking price, because it can change so much. But everybody asks, so I figured, hey, let's talk about it. So basically, I got to look and say, hey, I can get 200 bucks or 180 or 200 bucks for one of my wean lambs just as a general everyday lamb. Now, my lamb is registered. My lamb has great genetics behind it. How much more is that worth? Does that mean we're talking 2.25 or 2.5 for really good genetics on a 12-week-old registered lamb? You could be. It's very possible. By the time I got lambs and by the time they're 12 weeks from now, the prices may be totally different, so I don't know. But today, I'd have to say, if I had 12-week-old lambs, they weighed about 40, 50 pounds, they've got the genetics that mine have, I'm probably not going to sell them for 200 bucks, not at today's prices, because that's almost what an everyday old non-registered hair sheep is going to cost. So you're running into, again, I've said there's a lot of variables, but I wanted to give you that is what I'm seeing today's prices and what I'd be talking wean. Now, let's talk rams, because that's probably the one I get asked more, all right? A lot of my sales are going to be as weaned, and that's why I wanted to cover those weights, the prices I'm seeing. But a lot of say, well, what's a ram going to cost me? All right. Again, different parts of the country, everything's different, blah, blah, blah. But there is a sale in Texas called the Hamilton sale. Now, they just held one, and I noticed from the sheet, they have another one in May. So clearly they must probably run sales every 2 or 3 months. Maybe in the heat of the summer they back off and don't do it. I don't know. I haven't paid a lot of attention. I knew they had fall sales and spring sales. So they're going to have multiple sales a year. Excuse me. Now, this sale is designed for rams. I mean, there's people come from all over the country for this. And basically this sale is designed around shooters. All right, it's not designed around breeding rams, it's designed around shooters. But again, what's the base market? It's just like I said, what's a 40, 50 pound wean lamb going to sell for? That's your base. Now, if it's a breeder or if it's got good genetics, the price may change. Well, it's the same thing on the shooters. I got plain old everyday sheep that's just going to be a shooter, but what if he's got great genetics and papers and all that? That could change it. So let's discuss, let me look, I got it written down. And here's the way they break down their rams. Now, they break them down by all the breeds, and they'll have Barbados, they'll have the Black Hawaiian, they'll have Texas Doll, and then they have Painted Desert. So here we're talking specifically, the price I'm going to give you are specifically what they had for Painted Desert at their last sale. And they break them down into 3 things. First one is a prospect, and a prospect is going to be a sheep with a 10 or 12 inch horn. All right. Now, we want to take all my rams from 2021 that I still have that you've seen. They all have bigger than 10 or 12 inch horns. They're probably going to be 13, 14, 15 inch, but we're going to put them in that same prospect line where they say 10 or 12 inch. And at this past sale, a prospect with a 10, 12 inch horn went anywhere from $250 to $500. Now, their next one up is what they call a shooter. And a shooter is a 20 to 30 inch horn. So clearly now we're talking probably something if it's really great genetics, you could be still looking at something that's probably less than 2 years old. All right, but a shooter, 20 to 30 inch horn, their prices there were $600 to $1,200. And then they go to their trophies, and that is a 32 inch or longer horn. All right, so you got one horn at least over 32 inches long. Clearly that would be, if it's registered in a paint, it's probably 32 inch or longer horn. You're probably talking something that's going to be in the Gold Star Ram category. And down there, their sale went anywhere from $1,500 at the low end to $4,100 at the top end. So again, those prices were for shooter rams. It's not really talking, oh, great genetics and breeding and all that, but it kind of gives you a little idea. If 10, 12 inch prospects are sitting here going for $200 to $500, then if I'm looking at selling something of mine with the good genetics and horns of that quality, if not bigger, that's probably where I'm looking. I'm looking somewhere between the $200 to $500 range. Again, will that change 6 months from now? Sure, it could. Prices are always changing. But it's the question I get the most from you guys. What's it going to cost me? What'll it cost me to get started? I didn't get into ewes. And ewes can be, we could go 200, 250, 300, 350. All depends on the breeding, all depends on the age, all depends if they're bred or if they're open. There's so many things. For me, the simplest thing was to talk about the weaned lambs that say the 12-week-old, the 40, 50 pound, what are they going for? That one's kind of easy because I'm seeing all the sales are the same thing, $3.5, $4 a pound. So 175 to 200 bucks each for a weaned lamb with nothing going for it. No, it's not gonna have any papers. It's not gonna have any great genetics. It's gonna be a 50-pound lamb. That's what it's gonna sell for. And to give you a rough idea on the rams. So hopefully that gives you a little bit when everybody's asking, what do they cost? Hopefully that will help you just a little bit. But again, remember, depends on the part of the country you're in, time of year, everything changes. But that's where I'd say we stand on that for now. All right, that's all I got. Tomorrow I'm gonna get that on. I'm gonna do some cleaning. I get the ewes in on Monday, and hopefully a week from today we'll be back, and I'll have some blood reports for you to give you. Thanks a lot. Take care.